Good morning, homeschool moms and dads. So, you know how I said that when I did my, hey, here's the literature we're going to be going through, that I would probably be adding more? Here's the more. All right. So do I actually think we will honestly get through all of this year? Absolutely not. I do not think that. I do think that it's good to have a library of books, and I definitely didn't have as many readers for the Middle Ages as I did for Ancient World, which I had a lot of, or American History, which I have so much of, it's ridiculous. So let's get into some of the readers that I pulled. Now, a lot of these are off of the Bookshark / Sunlight, what is it? The Guide G. So for whatever that it's worth, I'm not super well versed on the Bookshark Sunlight thing. I understand intellectually that it's very similar to the way we approach things, and that it's, you know, a literature approach, and they do a lot of read-alouds. I don't understand the point of the instructor's guide. I have, with this set now, a used instructor's guide from somebody. So I will look through it and see if there's anything I find particularly worthwhile in this. It says that this group is for ages 11 to 13. So I think that's going to be perfectly fine for my 8-year-old, because we do a huge amount of her schoolwork is geared towards middle school. So this is like right in line with that. And a lot of her schoolwork is geared towards high school. So, okay, whatever, we do it different. So this lovely, helpful mama that sent me this had like tabbed everything out by week. We definitely won't be following the Bookshark schedule. This is not our main curriculum by any stretch of the imagination. But it's cool that I have this now, because when I was looking through this, and I did receive this last night. So I looked through this for the first time last night at like 9 p.m. when I got home from work. And yes, I did get home from work at 9 p.m. and I went in at like 8 a.m. So, that's my life right now. But it does look like they have discussion questions, which is really kind of nice. We might use that. I don't know. I might try to read through some of this and, you know, see what the point of the guide is. Now, we won't be doing the whole set. And I will probably take this little, I'll call it a trivium table, because I don't know what they call it, this little map out and put it in our binder for CC, because I have a lot of those kind of things in our binder for CC. So I will look through this, and I might do another video on like how I plan to use it once I've actually looked through it. But let's get into the books. So I'm going to start with the books we will not be using. So we will not be using Mara, Daughter of the Nile, because we are doing the medieval world, and this is an ancient world book, and because we already owned it. So I'm probably giving this in a whole group of books that we already owned to my niece. We will not be using The Mystery of the Roman Ransom, because we've already read it. We read it this year. We already had owned a copy of it, but it came in this set. So we got another copy, and I will be gifting this to someone too. I do absolutely love these books. I wish it came with the Toga's one, which is like, I think the second one in this series, because I haven't read that one yet, and I would love to. So if anyone wants to swap, let me know. Anyways, this one we won't be reading again. We also will not be reading again The Golden Goblet, because we read that this year for Ancient World. And highly recommend. She loved this. We had a couple things, like The Golden Goblet and The Golden Bowl were both stories about ancient goldsmiths, but in different cultures. So my daughter learned a ridiculous amount about goldsmithing this year on accident. We will not be reading Memoria Press's copy. I think it came with our Memoria Press one, so I actually don't know who published this. But we will not be reading the Trojan War again, because we read it 2 years ago, and we already own this exact copy. We might read their Greek myths because my daughter absolutely loves Greek myths and likes them being told to her in every single conceivable way and fashion. And, you know, on her own will watch lots of videos of people telling Greek myths and things like that. So we might reread this, or we might read this. I will probably hold off till the next time we do cycle 1, which is Ancient Times, to go through this, although I did specifically want this book because I saw it on a lot of other YouTubers that were using it, and just it keeps coming up, so I wanted it. But this is about a Athenian boy who goes and lives in Sparta. So culture shock. And then this is the Ides of April, which, shouldn't it be March? Rome in 62 AD. So we won't be reading this because it's not the time period we're in. But it does look interesting, and I'm looking forward to it in a couple years. Now, what we will be reading, Catherine Called Birdie, which I actually remember reading this in like middle school myself, but we'll read it as a read aloud because my daughter can't read this yet. So, Catherine Called Birdie. This is A Murder for Her Majesty. This takes place during the reign of Queen Elizabeth. The Hidden Treasure of Glaston. And this is, it's giving you like an excerpt on the back. This is happening in Glastonbury Abbey in the year 1171. And it's regarding the confrontation between Archbishop Thomas Becket and King Henry. So, cool. This is, and I was thrown off by it being an Anne McCaffrey book, because if you've read Anne McCaffrey books, I know some of those get saucy. So, I was like, is this going to be kid appropriate? But it was in a kid's book lot, so I don't know. But I think this one was probably written for kids. So this is Black Horses for the King by Anne McCaffrey, who is one of my grandmother's favorite authors. So this is during King Arthur. Then, this is in the wrong stack. We probably won't be reading this because it's more like Roman era. However, because it takes place in Britain, we might go ahead and read it this summer. So this is Britain under Roman rule. So, we've been doing some, we're kind of focusing on British history a little bit extra because I have a lot of family in the UK, so I care. So there's this one, which is called The Silver Branch. And then this one is The Second Mrs. Gioconda, which I'm probably pronouncing completely incorrectly. But this is Leonardo da Vinci. This is going to be about Eleanor of Aquitaine. This is a proud taste for Scarlet and Minerva. Cool. But Henry, Eleanor of Aquitaine. Okay. This one my daughter is really looking forward to. This one looks so incredibly cute. It's ridiculous, and she likes this guy. So this is The Adventures of Sir Balin the Ill-Fated, and this is one that the kids are supposed to be able to read on their own. So we are very much looking forward to this. It is basically at my daughter's reading level if she was willing to accept this many pages, this many words on a page. But it does, have some little illustrations. Let me go to one that has more of an illustration. See, not too much text on a page, not wildly overwhelming. It's cute, it's funny, it's not incredibly long. What are we at? It's like 100 pages. Should be a really sweet little reader. If she likes it, we will see if they have other books, because it looks like they might also have The Adventures of Sir Lancelot the Great and The Adventures of... Okay, so it looks like they have a few other stories that you could get. So, this looks really fun. The King's Shadow. This is about a Welsh serf. Working under someone who becomes the King of England. So, neat. The Shakespeare Stealer. This is about like a guy who goes and steals a play from Shakespeare. So this looks cute, and we're reading a lot of Shakespeare this year. I love that we're getting out of Europe a little bit. So this is The Samurai's Tale. So awesome. Get to go to medieval Japan. Then this is The Bedouin's Gazelle, which is also great, getting out of Europe a little bit. So yeah, that looks great. I know nothing about this book other than it seems to be on like every list. So Adam of the Road. 11-year-old Adam loved to travel, blah, blah, blah. What time period are you really taking place in? Talks about pilgrims, saints. I don't know what this book's about. I just know that everyone else seems to like it, so I'm hopping on that cart, boat, train, whatever the mode of transportation is. We're gonna do it. This one I was really excited about because I was like, I know this painting. That's a Diego Velázquez, right? So yes, it is about Juan, the slave of the great Spanish painter Diego Velázquez, helps his master in his studio by preparing paints and stretching canvases. So really cool, kind of a like hidden figures of the time period. Because when we study the Middle Ages, we frequently study just the aristocracy and just the super famous people, and not so much the people who are working behind the scenes. So interested to read this. And if you don't know, I went to art school, so also interested from the art history side of it. Leonardo da Vinci, also excited about that. Another one that gets us out of Europe, so A Single Shard. And by looking at it, I assume it's about the Middle Ages in China. And the last one is The Great and Terrible Quest. So I'm assuming it's a questing book about knights. Seems about right. All right, so that's our stack of books that fell on me because there's so many of them. All right, so do I think we will get through all these books? Absolutely not. But then again, some of them are easier than others, and they're just read-alouds. So if we're not doing, all the questions and all the activities and all that stuff, we might be able to get through quite a few of them. And it builds up our library, so these are things that she can go back when they are at her reading level. Then she can go back and read them herself. They can be things that we go back to several times because kids have the memory of a gnat. So going through things over and over and over again is a good thing. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you like these sorts of things and you want to see more of them. That's how you get to. All right. Thanks so much. Comment down below. I love talking to you guys. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if any of them are things I should be wary of. Someone did comment on one of my other videos on like, hey, so did you know that, King Arthur is going to talk about infidelity? Yes, I did know that, and that will be a discussion. And other things like that. So let me know in the comments down below if there's any discussions that you think I should be having with my kids before reading some of these about inappropriate topics. If any of these you're like, hey, that was just the world's boringest book, you might want to skip that. Or if you had an absolute favorite out of these. Whatever your thing you want to tell me. I love talking to you guys. All right, thanks so much and have a wonderful homeschool day. Bye.